How do we tell time in Spanish? Well, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how. And it's actually pretty simple. So let's take a look. The most common way to ask someone for the time in Spanish is ¿Qué hora es? Literally, what hour is it? Or what is the hour? Hora in Spanish means time, but it can also mean hour, depending on the context. Now, the basic structure for asking the time or telling the time is by using son las or es la. Now, notice how son las is plural, so it is. The only time we're going to use a singular when talking about time is when we say es la una. Okay, that's the only time. For all other times, we're going to use son las. Also, notice how it's feminine, right? It's not los, it's las. Okay, so es la una, it's one, and son las dos, it's two. So, for example, if we're looking at son las tres, son las cuatro, etc., right? It's all going to be son las, not es la. Like I said, use es la only for one and then son las for all other hours. Now, what if we want to add minutes onto this? Well, we're going to use y or some special phrases. Personally, I mostly just use y, and honestly, if we're looking at a time like 3:05, I might just say to you, son las 3:05, or son las 3:05, for example. Y5 sounds better, but you can do either or. Okay, so son las 3, it's 3, y 5, and 5. Son las 4:10, it's 4 and 10, or it's 4:10. Son las 5:20, all right, it's 5:20. So it's that easy, okay? Now, we have some other common phrases that we can use. So something like y cuarto, which would be 15 minutes, okay? So for example, son las 3:15, it's 3:15. Now, you could say son las 3:15 or son las 3:15. Both work, but you might hear a native speaker say son las 3:15. Or something like y media, which would be 30 minutes. So, son las 5:30. Okay, so cuarto being 15 minutes, media being 30 minutes. Okay, muy bien. Okay, now we can also use menos to tell the time. However, most people nowadays don't really use this. Maybe if they're older, they'll use this, but most people would just use the, son las 3:30, whatever. It's not super common. We're going to use menos, okay? So, for example, son las 7:10. So it's 7 minus 10, which would equal 6:50. Or son las 9:15. It's 9 minus 15, which would be 8:45. I don't know about you. I'm not a huge math guy, so I would just say son las 6:50 or son las 6:50 or son las 8:45 or 8:15, whatever. 9 menos cuarto, whatever. Okay, now moving on. What about if we want to talk about if it's morning or afternoon? Well, in this case, we would use the common phrases of de la mañana, de la tarde, and de la noche. So, de la mañana is in the morning, or AM. De la tarde is PM, or afternoon. And de la noche would be night. So, for example, son las 8 de la mañana. It's 8 in the morning. Son las 9 de la noche. It's 9 at night. So just by adding these, now we understand if we're talking about morning or night. Because if you said to me, son las 8, I would need to use context clues to understand. Are you talking about morning or night? So if I were to ask you, ¿a qué hora empieza el evento mañana? What time does the event start tomorrow? If you were to say to me, a las 8, at 8, I wouldn't know if you're saying 8 a.m. or 8 at night, which is why we use something like de la mañana or de la noche. So some more quick examples for you. Es la una, like we saw. Son las 2:15. It's 2:15. Son las 3:30. It's 3:30. And son las 7 menos cuarto. But remember, for all the other times, we'll just use the y. And that's the most common. So like son las 3:05, son las 4:10, so on and so forth. Pues muchas gracias por ver este video. If you'd like to learn more Spanish from me, click the link in the video description to check out our Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy, or you can go to SpanishWithNate.com. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.